Hello, Walking Dead fans. This is Solid Dave Snake, bringing you a very special review this Christmas Eve 2014 on the newly released 10-inch Rick Grimes deluxe action figure by Mcfarlane Toys. And this is the second deluxe action figure in the 10-inch TV series that we have gotten from Mcfarlane Toys. And it is very fitting that it being Rick Grimes, since the first one wasn't, but it was fan favorite Daryl Dixon, so I didn't have a problem with that, but kind of thought Rick should have been up first. But it's good enough that we get him the second go around, and I hope in the third go around we get him Michonne or Governor, but we will have to see because there are no announcements yet. But I was really happy and excited to get this figure before Christmas and get them reviewed for you guys. And I hope a lot of you are going to find them under your Christmas tree this year. And we will just get right into them. And this figure is based off of the look from Rick Grimes on that season 3 poster when he was on top of the bus with his revolver held out to his right. And you can get an alternate look with him as you see him now with this sniper rifle over his shoulder. So that is really nice because these 10-inch deluxe action figures aren't too articulated, so at least they give us an extra arm to get a second look out of them. And just to give you a quick comparison to last year's outing, comparing him to the Daryl Dixon that came out in the 10-inch deluxe format. And right off the bat, you'll notice that there is quite a bit of size difference here between the two. And if I pull out a tape measure, you will see that Daryl stands just barely under 9 inches, and Rick actually stands at a little over 10, just a hair over 10. And I know that Daryl is a little crouched down in a stalking kind of pose, but I do think that's a little off in the size. I know in the show, Norman Reedus actually is a little bit shorter than Andrew Lincoln, but I think they could have scaled it a little better. But hopefully they think of that from now on, since they're going to be continuing this line, and make them more in scale with each other. And all in all, I think that this has the overall best likeness to Andrew Lincoln's Rick Grimes off the show out of any of the figures that have been done so far. And a lot of that has to do with being able to fit a lot more detail in a bigger figure. And just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'll get a close-up of this Rick in the newly released Series 6 Rick Grimes. And you can see that there is a lot more sculpted detail on the 10-inch. Although the 6-inch isn't too bad, there were a lot of, well, you kind of had to search for the right paint apps on the figure, because some were pretty jacked up, but mine didn't turn out too bad. But this is definitely the more detailed figure, the 10-inch, for the likeness to Andrew Lincoln. And I'll give you a look of him in this rifle over the shoulder pose here before I show you how to switch out arms and get that second look. And it's real easy. You just pop the peg right out of the hole here in the shoulder. And to get the sniper rifle off, it's real simple. You just rotate down and it comes right out, and it's real simple to get it back in that way as well. So very easy to work with. And this sniper rifle is just an upscaled version of some of the ones that the 5-inch figures have had from the TV series. Andrea came with this. Rick Grimes in Series 2 and the Walgreens exclusive. A few of them. Even Andrea in the comic book series had a version of this repainted. And it has the same exact kind of details, just just upsized for the 10-inch figures. And another thing that's really nice about this is the actual strap is molded to when it's laying across his shoulders, it's kind of have this natural fold to it, which I thought was really nice. And another one of the accessories he comes with is this little knife, which actually really only has detail on this side. You can see the little serration in there, and then on this side it's really flat. If I hold it at this angle, you can see how flat it is, and this has none of that sculpted detail on this side. So I hate how flat this accessory is, and it really looks weird in his hand because that part that's not detailed is the part that is sticking out on this side. Well, I have it reverse actually. If you put it this way, it looks okay, but then the blade's not facing outward. But if I put it in this way, the way he should be holding it, you can see that that flat end is out. Doesn't look nearly as good. So kind of a worthless accessory, but what the heck, I'm probably never going to pose my Rick holding this knife anyhow. But the one great accessory that he had to come with is his 357 Colt Python, which, upscaled for these 10-inch action figures, looks outstanding. If I can get a real good focus here, I'll show you all the detail they put on this. The silver looks great on it. It has a little bit of black dry brushing in there. The brown for the wooden handle looks great. The only thing I hate on some accessories are these little circles that are made from the molding process. Trigger looks good, but be extremely careful with the hammer back here for the revolver, because I have noticed a lot of people complaining about breaking these when putting it in his hand, but I will show the correct way to do that. And I'll pull out his alternate arm right here. And before, in my Daryl Dixon review, I showed you how you can use a hairdryer to heat it up, and you could kind of use that in this for this too, but really all you need to do is push up on these 3 fingers right here really hard, and then slide the revolver in like so, and then you can just inch it down, grabbing the sides of the revolver. Make sure you do not push on that hammer, because you may break it, and it sits in there really nice. And to attach it to Rick is just as easy as that other arm. Just match it up and push in the peg. And this one is actually a little stiffer than the other arm. Give me a second, kind of got to push in hard until it matches up. And then you can have that iconic pose of Rick with his revolver outstretched, which is how I will choose to pose them, and I'm sure a lot of people will. But that is all the accessories he comes with. That's some good ones for this first 10-inch Rick. Comes with everything he really needs to. And detail-wise, he is great, just like that Daryl Dixon. We'll get in close, let you have a good look at his face. Nice wrinkling done through there. Blue put into his eyes. The beard is sculpted really well. Painted nicely as well too. Kind of has a grimy look all up here on his forehead and throughout his face. Has that wavy hair. They did a great job sculpting it. Even the back of the shirt, where all the stitching is, it kind of give it this darker tone right here in the middle of his back. Kind of replicate a big sweat stain. Just like in the 6-inch figures, they do a great job with the creases in the clothing. Bring out even more detail in this 10-inch form. And the skin tone is nice. You can practically see the veins underneath. Great job sculpting. Good detail in the hand. That hand holds that revolver great. Once again, great job up front with the sweat detail even under the armpits. The pockets and buttons. His buttons all have a little bit of a silver finish to them. And then on his left wrist, he has a watch he's always had. And his wedding ring. And the belt is excellent in this 10-inch format. Good job with the lacing. The holster has great detail and is a little bit of a softer plastic. He's got his pocket knife here, handcuff holder, some other pouches. Good detail on the jeans. Excellent folds and wrinkles throughout. A little bit of a dirty wash and look to him throughout here, but nothing too excessive. And his boots are excellent. They almost look leathery. I can give you a good look at them here. And even the bottoms. Well, actually the bottoms do not have detail this go around. The bottom of Daryl's feet did. Let's take a look here. Yeah, the bottom of Daryl's feet had tread. Rick's do not. They missed the mark at go around. But all in all, this is an excellent figure and will look great standing beside your Daryl Dixon. And articulation wise, there's really not much to go over, and I almost think it's weird they call them action figures, deluxe action figures especially, when they're basically just glorified statues. But hey, for the price, you get a lot for what you're paying for. But articulation wise, he does have a cut right here at the elbow on the right arm, and on the same spot on the alternate arm as well. He will rotate right there slightly. He has nothing at the head. Daryl could rotate at the head, but Rick has nothing, so he is stuck looking off to the right. And he does have a cut here at the left shoulder, but it looks off whenever you turn it too much. Doesn't match up where the cut is with the shirt. And he does have rotation right there at the elbow, and rotation at the wrist as well on this side, which you can rotate all the way around. And he will twist at the waist as well, so you can get him more on a straight on looking pose if you wanted as well. And he does have ball joints at the ankles, but they are very limited and kind of restricted from the cuff of the pants, just like in the Daryl. But all in all, you're going to get this guy to either leave him in the box on your shelf or displayed like this on your shelf. So you really don't need him to do too much articulation wise. And if you want that bigger scale, high quality, more articulated kind of look, I know that 3A has done the Michonne's pets, and they're supposed to do a Rick and a Daryl and a Michonne and a Merle in the future. So if you want articulation, you might want to look into those, although they are going to be pricey. I know the pets were like $120 a piece. But all in all, I highly recommend this Rick, and I hope a lot of you wanting him get him for Christmas. And stay tuned. We have another year coming up full of Walking Dead goodies that you know I will be reviewing. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned.